Okay, good evening all. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker of the day. It's Prasanna. He has IIT from PhD from IIT Kharagpur, and he also has 2 master degrees from in business administration and also in psychology. So any doubt in psychology, you can contact Prasanna. Okay, and he currently associated with the C2 implementation team, and he's also been a consultant for over 8 years in USA and Middle East and Japan. And today he's going to talk on the topic KM in box office cinema. Prasanna, all yours.
Thanks, Omar. Oh, I thank everyone and welcome to the K community. This is my first talk here. I'm a little new to Cognizant and welcome you all once again. So the topic is KM in box office. So I want to keep a little non-serious and try to compare KM with box office, especially movies. So my first question is, let me begin with the question, why do we like movies? How many people like movies here? I mean, anything, like, yeah, so majority of them like movies. So movies, I mean, according to me is like, it gives you a sort of pleasure which, it transports you to a different realm. And it gives you some sort of satisfaction when you are in a closed environment and you watch something like a hero doing something which you cannot do, and you tend to identify yourself with him. It gives you a vicarious sense of enjoyment. The vicarious means like the pleasure which he or she experiences as a protagonist. You tend to experience the same thing in movies. So how do I relate this to KM? So let me come to the part of KM part. Like for newbies, I would like to explain KM in a very simple example. If I say 23, it is data, right? If I say 23 degrees centigrade, it becomes information. But assume that I am from Antarctica and I say 23 degrees centigrade, oh my God, it's very hot for me, I can't sit here, I can't stand here. It's the truth. The 23 degrees centigrade information is very hot for me because I am from Antarctica, and that is knowledge. When I attach my own beliefs, experiences, everything to the information, it becomes knowledge. Same way a Chennai guy or a girl might say, wow, it's so cool. So the same information is, the perception differs from people to people. So in movies also, when we watch some movies, we come out and say, wow, it was nice. And the same, your friend might say, it was very boring. So the perception differs, but the movie is the same. So coming back to this talk, so I would like to focus only on the protagonist. The hero is a gender neutral word, I would like to say. So I have been a fan of action movies from childhood. So especially I like the fighting scenes of everyone, though I am not a fan of a particular actor per se. I like all the action movies. So I would like to, I tend to identify with the protagonist, how he hits people and baddies and he smashes them. So it has been a never-ending love for action. I believe everyone would love action movies. So my comparison is with the hero or the protagonist with my work. So everyone is a hero in your workspace, and you tend to do what the hero does in the movie. That is what I'm trying to explain here. So it is more of a fun thing with little KM real research spread out here and there. So let me get into the characteristics of a hero. So let's assume this. So hero has 3 aspects to it: physical, mental and spiritual. There are certain specific way in which he has to behave in a movie. If you analyze the characters of a hero, it is etched in a particular manner. He cannot be a bad guy, and he cannot fall on the feet of the villain and beg for mercy. Have you seen any movies where he is doing that? It's very rare. So, and and superheroes have got one more additional step, like they cannot die. So these are specific characteristics of heroes. So I'm trying to just categorize into certain aspects, though it is generic only. So if you see the hero, he should be physically good looking or healthy at least, and having some charisma behind him. And so he should be loving, caring, and little bit of intelligence, and he should be mainly having the skills to execute or vanquish the enemies. So I'm coming back to this point of the talent, skill, and within this framework of ethical, moral aspects of it. So, and his responsibilities include professional responsibilities. He's an army man, he has to fight the enemies, and personally he has to be a good father, son, lover, or spouse. And if we talk about the generic aspects of what are the roles they do, like some heroes, we brand them based on this. We see a movie and say it's a repetitive role, man. It doesn't interest me. Sometimes it is standardized. Some standard is there, and regional standards or global standards are there. We like such movies which gives a standard type of roles. And here it is customized, is very innovative type of roles which we cannot imagine. So I'll come back to that. I have small clips also to show these aspects. And as you know, knowledge is of two types. Coming back to knowledge management, one is tacit knowledge and one is explicit knowledge. Tacit knowledge is what you have it in your head, and explicit knowledge is what you have got trained and you can codify that, you can write it down. So I am focusing on the fighting type, the fights, because I am an action, I like action, so I categorize people who are heroes who fight the baddies into the talent type, which is explicit. He fights, and you can copy that. When I was a child, I used to do that. When he fights someone, you tend to copy the same movements in your home, like that. So this is explicit one. But there are certain tacit type, like when I watched Bruce Lee, I couldn't replicate that. I couldn't jump like him, or I couldn't fight like him. So this is more towards a tacit thing, because he's experienced in that. So what type of baddies he hits? So the thing is that there are standard baddies who come. If you observe the end part of it, the hero will get into the castle. So he will have only one blow, just like that. He blows them and they fall. So one critical blow and they fall. So that is very much standardized. Certain customized are there. Customized is in this area. Even here, he gets trained by a guru. So he cannot hit the baddie. What he does is he goes to guru, he gets trained, he comes back, and using his tacit knowledge, he engages his enemy, he hits him. So this comes to Q2. And then there is Q3. Q3 is customized and explicit. So here he works in a team. There are many experts. So he takes help of a particular expert. He ties the rope for him. He holds the rope. He is experienced in a particular talent, but he needs all the expertise of other people to solve this. So everyone has an explicit knowledge. They are expert in their domain. They all help the hero to have engage a customized enemy and solve it. The fourth one is more towards an idea. Is the customized and tacit knowledge. You don't know who the enemy is. You don't know what you are trying to solve, but you try to save the world. Like it deals with very big budget movies which are totally out of the world movies, like engaging with Martians or going out of the world. For example, Avatar or Inception, which deals with planting an idea. You fight an enemy with different skills. So this deals with more towards the innovative side. So I'm just focusing on these aspects and taking you through that. So So now I am coming back to the KM part of it, which is a research oriented thing. So if we talk about KM services, like how do you service? What is with your experience? So you can categorize your service type. In an official environment, you have internal customers as well as external customers. Even in your personal life, you act as a father, son, daughter, or father-in-law or mother-in-law, anything. You interact with people. So they ask you a question and you respond to them. So this, I would call it as a service. I mean, imagine it's a service. So this is repeated. You talk to your spouse in a very repeated manner. So, with a lot of gaps and assumptions, and you don't even talk sometimes, it is assumed. So here it is standardized. Standardized talks involve peer-to-peer talking, where it is more of a informal and mature relationship. And you can see the solutions here, the common to many customers. You work more in these aspects in an official environment. And here it is customized. When your boss asks you to do something, you have to prepare a report. It has to be customized. A customer comes, your client comes with a new request. It is not an ordinary request. So you need to have some experience. You need to take help of people, and then you have to customize the request and respond to them. So the curve is, this is from Jordan and Jones. So just want to briefly touch upon this. And the second type is knowledge types. So explicit and tacit is what I was talking about. And in this you can see, ease of transfer, and it's procedure oriented. Learning focus is incremental. So I would like to compare this and take you through the actor as well as the person who is working. So here you can be an associate or a low-level employee in an organization, an entry-level trainee in this Q1, and when after 4 or 5 years you get some experience, and then you mature, you become a leader, and then you become an expert. And this area, I would not say that's a maturity level here. I would say everyone can enter into the Q4 and contribute towards innovation, or you can do things differently. Provided we would say all these things, the boxes we can imagine as the constraint or the company policy or family policy, or as an individual you have certain moral responsibilities. You cannot go beyond that and do anything. So let's assume the boxes as a framework where you are allowed to do certain things within that space. So I would like to give you a video of this first thing. So in this you can see my favorite is MGR. So it's just a short video. So I would come back to this Q1. Q1, as you see the MGR's fight, this is where when you join an organization, you tend to gain some skills, and I would compare the enemies as the work which comes into your inbox. Small things. You tend to fight, tuck, and then you try to clear your inbox. You don't think much. You have the knowledge with you. You know the solutions. You know how to respond to this. You clear off everything. And so, I couldn't get a different MGR clip because I like the way he disposes his enemies. He'll have a smile on his face. He knows he's an expert. He's a master in these words. So with a smiling face, he'll just dispose them. So you see the attitude of his it's fantastic. It is having a sort of confidence and a charm with him when he fights his enemies. So I would say, like, when you are in the Q1, you tend to, you become an expert, you know what you have to do. So current scenario is this one. So similar tasks which come to you, it's Q1 only. So if you see here, all the enemies are the same. Okay, doesn't need a. So this is where, when you are new to a particular skill and you gain the skill and you are in the quadrant 1, you become an expert. And then what after that? What do you do after you gain that expertise? So you tend to lead teams. You can handle you can engage with your clients alone. You will be sent as an individual to either a foreign location or to talk to a client and bring new business, or form a team. So you come to the Q2 part of it, which is the explorer part. So I would say the explorer is a leader. So the examples are Bruce Lee and Antonio Banderas of Zorro. I hope you guys have seen these movies actually. So Bruce Lee and Zorro get trained under a certain guru, and then they learn all the skills necessary to engage the enemy, and they go to the enemy's place, and they have multiple people attacking them. In the first quadrant, you would have seen people of similar talent attacking the hero or protagonist. But here, Bruce Lee will have multiple levels of experienced people attacking them. So he needs that training and he needs to show his power. So here, I would like to show a small clip on Bruce Lee actually. Sorry for my editing. It's a little. So here he disposes of his enemies in a single blow with his nunchak. So here I would say the standardized and tacit knowledge, he is a risk taker and his problem solution can be transferred from one customer to another, and he is very aggressive. The another thing is that he tries to provide customers with unique and innovative solutions, and he also explores new type of solution by going to enemy territory and hitting them. So I would say in a typical IT service industry, the type of work is like resolving problems through discussions, having expert knowledge, sharing expert knowledge, and attending training, coaching. The nunchak, I would call it as a trained. He is trained in that thing. So without that training, he wouldn't be so confident to enter and fight. So he's trained, and he gets help from experts, and he has got a lot of contacts to solve a particular thing, and he leads teams. He can lead teams, and like some special report generation, or he can even motivate teams. So he's in this category, the Bruce Lee and Antonio Banderas. So now we move to the Q3, and Q3 is self-explanatory. So
Simple game. 4 players.
4 players.
Inside CIA headquarters.
And you really think we can do this?
We're going.
Is he serious?
Always.
We're being ambushed. Report, that's an order. My team is dead! They knew we were coming.
Let's go.
Do you beat me?
You survive. Why? That is the question. You guys are trained to be good. Let's not waste time chasing their dreams. Making compromise. Let's go. You see. It's much worse than you think.
So these deals with purely consulting types of work, where you are a domain expert, you need expertise of other people, and you form a team, and you don't know who the enemy is, only bits and pieces of it, you tend to go get the job done. So this comes under Q3. So if you see the experience, he is using the existing knowledge which he has and of the team, and he creates new type of service delivery. It's unstructured because he doesn't know what is going to come, but he's very confident because of the skill set, and he tries to reuse the existing knowledge, but he is not aggressive in developing new knowledge. If you see Tom Cruise, he'll only exhibit a certain set of skills. It also applies to James Bond too. So James Bond will have certain people helping behind him, where he'll get all the skill set which is necessary. He can fly an aeroplane, a submarine, pilot a submarine, and take off in a car which is very new, or use some gadgets. So you'll find all people behind him to make him a hero. So this type of work will be to respond to RFQ and working with diverse teams and sharing domain knowledge. You develop some mailers and posters for some events which is innovative and which needs your input, and working especially with the top management will involve what new things you can contribute to something. So this is Q3, and we move on to Q4. Q4, I really don't have a video, but this is my favorite. So I would like to say Q4 is not a person, it's an idea. The idea is the hero here. So So the meaning says it all. So the idea is the hero here. So there is no depth for this, there is no limit for this, it's unlimited energy. You customize it, you have the necessary resources, you can build upon your knowledge to develop something new like this. So Inception and iRobot, there is no fixed ladder to reach Q4. Any person who is working in Q1, Q2 and Q3 can think about this. If resources and permission and licenses permit, they can bring out ideas which can be captured by organizations. So that's what we are moving into this area in all the organizations. So this is given high importance in this connected world. So far I have been talking about professional life. I will briefly touch upon the same model with personal life too. So as a Q1, you have a limitation as a son and daughter, so you tend to obey certain things and do certain things in the Q1, or as a spouse too. And then you become a parent or a spouse, you have kids, you tend to customize it according to your needs, and you tend to interact with people in a particular manner. And then you become a social worker, you become a domain knowledge expert, you get gray hairs, and then people come to you as a counselor, so you tend to give explicit and customized knowledge for a particular problem for the benefit of society. And fourth is, it doesn't end actually, you keep innovating, you keep bringing out new ideas, new thinking from your household things, you can keep innovating, bring out new things, and develop shortcuts in your home. So this almost, I finished my presentation. So the thing is that we have two things. One is this work and one is life quadrants. We have already seen it. So we need to balance this to be happy and have a fulfilling life. And I would like to conclude with a wonderful story I read, which was shared by my grandfather actually. So this is a story of cosmic dance of Indra. It's a mythological story. The king of heavens is Indra, as you all know, and he had two court dancers, Ramba and Urvashi, and they were very good dancers. They got trained under the same guru, and they were entertaining the whole 7 worlds. So one day, Indra's wife, one of his wives, she asked him, "Who is the better dancer?" So Indra got really confused. He couldn't think of one over the other. So what he did was, so he said, "Let's have a competition." Then they said, even if you compete with each other, they will be same. So let's consult Narada. So Narada said, "Let's have an entertainment. So bring the best of the musicians, the best of the set makers, and let's have a grand gala celebration, and we can have the competition also." So they started the competition. Both started dancing. They were, unimaginably in sync with each other. The music tempo increased and decreased, but they were still the same. Nobody could identify. They all forgot why they came there. They forgot to judge them, and it went on like that. So the second day they contacted Narada and said, "Narada, what is happening?" So he said, "Put on some obstacles for them in between. Put on some props. Let them dance across it. Let's increase the difficulty for them." So they started putting up some lamps and water bodies in between, and they started dancing. They danced in sync. There was no difference between them. So it went on like that, and Indra was worried because he has already announced there must be some winner. So he went to Narada again and he said, "Narada, can you do something? We can't extend like this. We have to close it." So he said, "Okay, give me 4 lotus buds tomorrow." Said, "For what?" "No, don't ask me questions. Just give me 4 lotus buds." So he gave 4 lotus buds, and Narada gave it to the 2 dancers in both of their hands, and he told them to keep that and keep dancing. So they started dancing. They were in sync, and then the music. He asked to increase the music tempo as usual. The music tempo increased. They started dancing very furiously. Suddenly, Ramba threw the lotus bud, and Urvashi was declared the winner. Everyone started clapping and congratulating Urvashi, and nobody except Indra, everyone had a smile in their face. Indra thought it was fixed. The game was fixed. So he went to Narada and said, "What did you do? Did you favor her over Urvashi?" "No." He said, "A dancer, I just gave her a different type of test, which is called stress test. I put 2 scorpions in the 2 lotus buds. So as the tempo increased, so you're supposed, as a dancer, you're supposed to hold the lotus bud with tender hands, gentle press. If you get agitated and you press it, the scorpion is bound to sting. So what Ramba did was, in a fit of ecstasy, in a pressure to compete, she pressed it at some point of time. So I would say we are balancing the work life and personal life as lotus buds, and the tools like technology, like mobile phones or internet, is what the scorpion's in it. So let's dance the cosmic dance very nicely so that we balance. If we press it very hard, it is going to sting us and we are going to lose balance. But even if we lose balance, we can regain the balance. So let's be cautious and let's innovate. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, sure.
Congrats for this thing. And do you think that you have this Q1, Q2, Q2, for this KM framework? Do you think currently the KM systems and organizations are actually tuned like this and they're focusing the energies on these things, or do you think they need to do like this, only then they'll be effective?
They are already doing it in a particular manner. If you see the promotion structure of a person, it comes to Q1, Q2, Q3, but Q4 is where the focus lies. I mean, and organizations are focusing on the Q4 with all levels. So Q4 is umbrella, I would say. I mean, I would think like that. And Q1, Q2, Q3 is very much necessary, but I would definitely have a pain point in Q3. If you see Q3, if you see the market, the Q3 are high-level consultants who are directly recruited from MBA students, and IIMs and business school graduates, they enter the Q3 domain directly. So they are only specialized in certain aspects of it. So there is a disconnect there, if you see technically.
Correct. In fact, I was opinion that like there are less of Tom Cruises and less of Bruce Lee and this thing, and lesser Tom Cruises are in the organization, because I think the training is not in stage, because we are producing a lot of MGRs and this thing in that particular quadrant.
Yes.
But when it comes to KM training and this kind of knowledge, I think that's where
these two are the bottom thing, and this is the thing which supports an organization, I would say. These are fancy things, because if you see the Tom Cruise, his mission is only 3 months. A consulting assignment is a hit or miss thing, and it's not a sustainable thing. So generally speaking, so it's picking up in the past 10-15 years. The MBA itself, so impossible.
Great. Thanks. Any questions?
Thank you.
I just want to add one more. Like Q4, as you said, like people don't usually see it as an umbrella as it should be seen. They see it as a next level to Q3. People in, like, say, quadrant 1 and quadrant 2 or 3, probably because it is projected as Q4, they don't feel that they have the capability to get into Q4. That's what I think. But actually, as you said, it should be an umbrella, but not many people see it as an umbrella.
Right. I mean, you're right. Yeah. Sure.
Q1, Q2, 3, Q4. Yeah, little further down. That's the one. You said the Q4 and you showed Indiran as an example, but that's the highest level of innovation, isn't it?
No. Q4, Indiran, yes.
Yes, Indiran is the highest level of innovation.
Right.
Now, basically what I'm trying to understand is innovation need not be at the highest level. Innovation can be even at a lower level.
Right.
Even a worker can do an innovation.
Right.
But that can happen even in Q1 and Q2 and Q3.
Right.
That can happen. Why do you segregate it as, is your understanding only if you innovate to the level of a robo like an Indiran, then only it's called an innovation?
No. I just went from Q1, Q2, Q3 as a step, actually. So I had to fit in the Q4 somewhere. And when you talk about Q4, a person with little knowledge in that area only can contribute in an organization. So now, as I said, it's an umbrella thing for everyone. And with the technology tools, even Q1 people are contributing ideas to the thing. But A person in Q4, if you see technically, if he matures from Q3, he'll have the resources, he'll have the necessary skill set and a team to implement the idea, as well as he can have the buy-in from the top management. But a person doing it from Q1 may not see it to fruition, even though he might have a good idea. So it's just a breakthrough. Anybody can.
That I agree. Yeah, if you give that adjective, then it qualifies that.
Yes. Anybody can contribute. That is the thing.
Correct. I think in the other quarters, I think it's more standard service types, but Q4 is distinctively.
That's why I said it's an idea. The robot is not a human, so it's an idea, and the song also. If I can play it to you again, like if you can watch it, it says, "I am the idea. I can do many things." Like it doesn't say Rajini has done it, so it can do on its own. Like your idea can do many things. So it depends on the problem. It depends on what you see, because
that is the theme of the movie.
Right. So,
because I am only now connecting.
No, and one more thing is that in Q1, if you see, the person is only focused on like this. He's focused. He's not strategic. When I joined as a software consultant, I used to mock at my manager because he didn't know it. I was more knowledgeable than him in the technical aspects, but I failed to realize that he is holding a more responsibility and he has to think strategically. He has to think what is the business which is going to come next. But I am mocking at him with, he doesn't know the Java code. What does he know? So this is Q1 mentality. Whereas my focus is this, I do my job and I go back home. But here it is more strategic, and here it is highly strategic where cost is implemented. Yes, Q3 is a recent trend, I would say. Q3 might have, your team members can have, in those days, a 10-year-old experience can become a manager. But now if you see the IIM grad, who is like hardly 2 years experienced, he joins as a manager here. So Q3 is a totally different ball game. So Q4, I agree, it's just a metaphorical representation. And it's not some layer. So it's a diagnostic thing. I would made it. It's not a prescriptive thing. So I stop with diagnosis.
Thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Ram asked a question.
So I would rather connect this with the color wheel, okay,
yes,
rather than taking them as entirely different things. You have a color wheel, that 7 color wheel, right? When you rotate, suddenly it becomes white and so on.
Right.
So unless you have all of them in the same wheel, you won't be able to either do Q1, Q2, Q3 or Q4, So I'm not sure whether we can distinguish them by putting some boundaries there and so on. The way how we want to use them, how we want to, take it to the next level, it depends on how you rotate the wheel.
Right.